Every slot player knows the surge, the reels spin, symbols blur, and the jackpot lands just above your line. Again. Feels rigged, right? It is not just paranoia. What you see is a crafted illusion, engineered through software that has been certified as random, yet designed to manipulate your brain's reward circuits. The industry calls it legal, you call it impossible luck. But buried deep in technical blueprints is a secret that proves you are not imagining it. Tonight, we enter the invisible engine of casino slots and reveal the one lie that changes everything. Why do the odds always feel just out of reach? The answer is more disturbing than you think. Inside every modern slot machine, there is a microprocessor running the random number generator, known as RNG. This algorithm never stops working. This is not a slow, predictable system. The RNG cycles through thousands of numbers every second, even when nobody is playing. The moment a player presses the spin button or pulls the lever, the machine grabs the current number from this endless stream. That single number determines the outcome of the spin. The reels spinning, the flashing lights, the suspenseful music do not influence the result. It is already locked in, decided in a fraction of a millisecond. Independent testing labs certify these systems. Gaming laboratories, international, known as GLI and BMM, are tasked with that job. Their role is to make sure the RNG passes rigorous statistical tests for randomness. They simulate millions of spins, checking that every possible outcome appears with the exact frequency programmed by the manufacturer. Regulators demand proof that the machine's brain cannot be predicted, tampered with, or manipulated after the fact. In Nevada, New Jersey, and Ontario, the rules are strict. Every spin must be independent. Every result must be determined only by the RNG at the instant the bet is placed. If a casino or manufacturer tried to alter the outcome after the button was pressed, they would risk heavy fines or even losing their license. Michael Shackelford, a mathematician who has analyzed hundreds of slot games, puts it simply, the moment you hit the spin button, the outcome is already determined. The physical reels are only there for show. No amount of timing, rhythm, or lucky rituals can influence what the RNG has already decided. The machine does not remember your last spin. It does not know if you are up or down, or if you have played for 5 minutes or 5 hours. Each game is a sealed event, a closed circuit between your action and the software's decision. The technical heart of the slot machine is invisible to the player. The only thing you see is the performance, the spinning reels, the anticipation, the near misses. But underneath, the outcome is set before the first reel even moves. Certification labs like GLI and BMM run exhaustive tests, checking billions of simulated spins to confirm that no pattern, no bias, no hidden switch can tilt the odds in favor of anyone but the house. Regulators require detailed logs, program hashes, and tamper-proof chips to make sure the game math stays untouched from factory to casino floor. What matters is this: the RNG is the machine's brain, an unstoppable clock that never pauses, never plays favorites, and never lets the player in on its secret. The reels are just a movie. The real action happens in silicon and code, out of sight, long before the symbols line up. The question is not whether the machine is random. The question is what that randomness is really hiding, and why the game feels so much closer than it actually is. A near miss on a slot machine is not just a disappointment. It is a carefully engineered event designed to light up the same reward centers in the brain that real wins do. When 2 jackpot symbols land on the pay line and the third stops just above or below, the machine is not being generous or unlucky. It is following a script written by behavioral scientists and game designers. Inside the brain, this moment triggers a surge of activity in the striatum and the insula, regions that process reward, motivation, and emotional response. Functional MRI studies, led by Dr. Luke Clark at Cambridge, have shown that these near-miss outcomes cause a spike in dopamine, the same neurotransmitter released during actual wins. The effect is not subtle. In lab tests, the neural response to a near miss can approach that of a real payout, even though no money is won. The player's heart rate jumps and skin conductance rises. The body is primed for action, as if success were just one step away. This is no accident. Decades of research into reward prediction error, the gap between what you expect and what you get, show that the brain learns fastest when rewards are unpredictable and when the outcome feels just within reach. Slot machines exploit this principle relentlessly. The software is programmed so that losing outcomes that look like wins, 2 cherries and a third just off the pay line, appear more often than pure chance would allow. These moments are losses, but they feel like progress. They create what psychologists call an extinction burst, a sudden frantic increase in behavior when a reward is withheld. Instead of walking away, players double down. They spin again, convinced that the next play will be the one. Behavioral scientists have tracked these patterns in controlled experiments. After a near miss, players are more likely to increase their bet size, spin faster, and rate their motivation to continue as higher than after a clear loss. Problem gamblers show even stronger brain responses to near misses, with insula activation up to 40% higher than in non-gamblers. The urge to chase the win becomes almost irresistible, even though the odds have not changed. Casinos and manufacturers know exactly how powerful this effect is. They tune the frequency of near misses to maximize playtime, using internal design documents and simulations to find the sweet spot where frustration turns into persistence. The result is a machine that does not just take your money by chance, but that manipulates the very circuits that control motivation and desire. What feels like a close call is really a calculated move, one that keeps players glued to their seats, spinning long after reason says stop. A technician sits at a workbench, opening up the logic behind the reels. On a classic 3-reel slot, each physical reel might have 22 symbols, cherries, beats, sevens, stacked around the circumference. But inside the software, every reel is mapped to a virtual strip, often 256 stops or more. The jackpot symbol, the one every player watches for, might appear twice on the physical reel. In the virtual mapping, those 2 jackpot symbols are assigned to just 2 out of 256 possible virtual stops. The rest are blanks or low-paying icons, each mapped to dozens or even hundreds of virtual positions. The technician pulls up a sample mapping table on the screen. Every spin, the RNG selects a virtual stop, for example number 143. The software checks the mapping. Does 143 correspond to the jackpot symbol or to something else? Most of the time, it is a blank or a low-paying fruit. But the trick is in how the machine displays the results. Even when the jackpot symbol is not on the pay line, the machine is programmed to show it just above or just below the pay line, creating the illusion that a win was only a hair's breadth away. In a real-world example, the odds of hitting the top jackpot might look like this: 2 out of 256 on each reel. Multiply those probabilities across 3 reels, and the true chance of hitting the jackpot is 1 in over 8 million. Yet to the player, the jackpot symbol seems to dance across the screen every few minutes, always just out of reach. The mapping ensures that near misses are common, but real wins are mathematically remote. This is not a bug or a cheat. It is a feature, documented in the internal blueprints known as PAR sheets. These documents spell out the exact mapping between virtual stops and real symbols, the hit frequency for every prize, and the long-term return to player. Regulators see these sheets. Casinos know them, players never do. The technician closes the mapping table, leaving behind a simple truth. What you see on the reels is a carefully constructed illusion. The real odds are buried in code, invisible and untouchable, but always working against you. The science of slot machines does not end with the math behind the reels. Every sound, every flicker of light, every delay in the spin is engineered to keep players engaged. Behavioral scientists have measured what happens inside the body when the machine celebrates a win or something that just looks like one. In controlled laboratory experiments, players hooked up to heart rate monitors and sweat sensors show the same physiological spikes, whether they hit a real win or experience what the industry calls a loss disguised as a win. The machine might flash, ring, and play a triumphant jingle, even when the payout is less than the original bet. The brain and body react as if something good has happened. Heart rates jump. Skin conductance rises. The player feels rewarded, even as the balance drops. Waveform analysis tells the story in cold detail. The audio signature for a true jackpot is nearly identical to the one for a small win or a loss disguised as a win. Both trigger the same celebratory notes, the same rising arpeggios, the same burst of flashing lights. Researchers like Mike Dixon have shown that when these cues accompany a net loss, players still report feeling like they are winning more often than they actually are. In post-session interviews, players consistently overestimate their success, counting losses disguised as wins as victories because the sound and spectacle make them feel that way. Timing of the reels is just as calculated. The first two reels might stop quickly, but the third slows to a crawl, stretching out the moment of anticipation. This is not random. Manufacturers use precise algorithms to control reel stop pacing, especially on the final reel, where the outcome is already determined, but the suspense is maximized. The slow reveal of a near miss, two jackpot symbols locked in, and the third reel dragging just long enough to make the heart race, amplifies arousal. Laboratory studies confirm that this moment lights up the same reward circuits in the brain as an actual win. A behavioral scientist puts it bluntly, the game is teaching your nervous system to chase a win that never really came. The outcome is random, but the presentation is not. Every sound, every pause, every flash is a tool, tested and refined to keep players spinning. The evidence is not hidden in trade secrets or casino back rooms. It is in the way your body responds every time the machine sings its siren song. A redacted document sits on the table, its columns filled with numbers and cryptic labels. This is a PAR sheet, the probability accounting report. It is the internal math file that tells the casino, the manufacturer, and the regulator exactly how the machine is programmed to behave. Every symbol on every reel, every possible outcome, every payout is mapped here. The virtual reel mapping, the hit frequency, and the return to player, RTP, are all spelled out in black and white. This is not a blueprint for cheating, it is the house's insurance policy, the DNA of the game. A technician walks through the numbers. For a popular slot, the sheet might show a theoretical payback of 92%. That means, for every $1,000 fed into the machine, the expected return is $920. The missing $80 is not a rounding error. It is the house edge, carved into the code. Over 1 million spins, the math always wins. The casino knows to the cent how much each game will yield, not by guessing, but by design. The payback percentage is not a secret to the people who need to know. Regulators demand to see the PAR sheet before a game ever hits the floor. They check that the math matches the law. The casino chooses which version to install. Some games come in multiple RTP options, like 88%, 92%, or 96%. To the player, the cabinet looks identical. The reels spin the same way. But the long-term outcome is set before the first coin drops. What the player sees is only the surface. The PAR sheet is the hidden ledger, tracking every possible win and loss, every symbol's true odds. The casino does not need to rig the machine in secret. The rigging is legal, mathematical, and fully disclosed, just not to the person sitting at the machine. The numbers on the sheet are the only numbers that matter. Every spin is a line in that ledger, adding up to a result the casino can predict with chilling accuracy. Regulators draw a sharp line between what is allowed and what is not. In every major jurisdiction, Nevada, New Jersey, Ontario, the rules are clear. Once you press spin, the outcome is locked by the random number generator, RNG. No casino, no technician, no remote servers can change the odds in the middle of your play. The only way a slot's return to player percentage can be altered is by swapping hardware or updating software when the machine is out of service. Under strict regulatory oversight, regulators routinely audit logs and certification records, looking for any sign of tampering. Violations mean heavy fines, license suspensions, or criminal charges. As one Nevada Gaming Control Board official said, every spin must be an independent event. The moment you bet, the outcome is frozen, but the legal line stops at randomness. The rest, the near misses, the celebration of losses, the way the machine draws you in, remains fair game. That is where player myths take root. The belief in hot or cold machines, or that a game is due after a long dry spell, has no basis in reality. Each spin is a fresh roll of the dice, unaffected by what came before. Former floor staff confirm it. They would watch players chase the same machine for hours, convinced a big win was coming. The truth is, the machine does not remember them at all. So what can you actually do to fight back? Experts recommend a forced cooldown. Casinos design the experience to keep you spinning. No clocks, no windows, fast cycles, and digital credits that blur the pain of losing. Break that loop. Set a timer before you play. Walk away for 5 minutes after a big win or a string of losses. Treat every session as a series of independent bets, not a story building toward a jackpot. For online slots, disable autoplay and turbo modes. Studies show that faster spins and automatic play can double or triple your losses per hour, even on higher return to player games. Responsible gambling advocates and former problem gamblers agree. The best defense is to slow down, set a hard loss limit, and step away before the machine's psychology takes over. The law protects the math, but only you can protect your wallet. Today, 1 in 4 US gamblers chooses slots, the most profitable game for casinos, engineered to keep you spinning. As ever slicker digital machines multiply, understanding the science behind each spin becomes self-defense, not just curiosity. The edge is not luck. It is knowledge. The question now, will you play their game or outsmart it? If you are ready for more truth, subscribe to Jackpot Exposed now. Click the subscribe button on your screen.